Let's start straight away in a squat position, feet on the outside of your hips. Just give me a baby squat. Don't go too deep just yet. We're just getting going. Sit back through those hips. Want to get that body moving, and most importantly, want to get the hips moving, and we want to release the hips before we do any serious work. 2 more here. Last one. And now just give me a little bit of hip rotation, turning that hip in. Welcome everybody. This is Strength and Core. Today we're doing progressive sets. And what that basically means is that we're going to be doing a good amount of repetition. Now lift out that side leg. Let's move that lateral hip. Try and balance maybe on that one leg. That will be the core. Come on in. Good, nice and tall. And then let's stand on the other thing. Lift that leg, stand nice and tall through the crown of the head. Let's open that hip. Last 2 and 1. And now go back into that squat pattern. Check that your feet are wider than your hips, that your toes have a natural turnout. Come on in, Jen. Good. This is 4. Now we're going to add a little bit of diagonal rotation. So we're going to squat down and we're going to rotate. We're going to squat down, we're going to rotate. Making sure we get all those joints ready. And let's do 4 more. And 3. And 2. Now give me a deadlift. Tip from the hip here, just tip from that hip. Say hello to your hamstrings on this wonderful day. How are your hamstrings feeling today? Last one. Now take that right leg behind you. Draw that hip towards me. Lean back and just take a hold here. Let's get a good release through that psoas. And then just backstroke the arms. Bring in a little bit of mobility into those lovely shoulders. Got to get those ready as well. Warm up is not about jumping up and down on the spot. Warm up is about joint preparation for maximum power. Last one. And release, change over. Lift up the heel. Maybe 20 years ago, warm up used to be about jumping on the spot, but not based on today's research and science. We know that preparing the joints will unlock the energy, allow the joints to move freely, and if they do, you have way more power, way more strength. Last one, and release. Now from here, let's do a little bit of hip circumduction. Let's get that hip open. Nice big circle lifting up, going round. Do be mindful of what your upper body's doing and what your posture is doing. And now switch sides. Big circle around, 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 around. Last 2. Last one. Now let's go wide into plie. Let's sit down and up, straight down and up, nice and tall in the spine. Make sure your knees are in the same direction of your hips. Come on in, Denise. Nice and tall in the spine as you go. Sit into that plie. Here's 4 and 3 and 2. Now you're just going to pivot to the right side, pick up that back heel, stack your joints so your head's over your hip. And then as you lunge, you're going to get a little bit of a stretch in the quadricep as well. And then I'm going to scissor the arm. Get that mobility through the trunk. Last one. Switch over, pivot the other side, stack the joints. Drop that knee. So this is for your mobility and your length as it's just the warm up. Last 2, last one. Face the front, toes to me, wide leg deadlift. How's that feeling? Nice wide leg deadlift, good. Hope you're playing some music at home. Always a bonus. You can have your own tracks, your own songs, whatever you like in the background. I usually recommend that. just with the sound transfer from our homes. Not so great if we're playing music, so we let you do that at home. Last two, and the last one. And release it here. Now let's just go side to side. And we're just going to move the hip pattern in a zigzag. So I'm going to zigzag forward. I'm going to zigzag back based on whatever space you've got at home. And we'll allow you to do that. Then now let's take in the arms with it. You can go slow. You don't have to go as quick as me. Good. Chest is up nice and high. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Oh, I have somebody else in the waiting room. Coming in again, Denise. Good. Last one. And then find a wide functional squat. What that means is that you can get your hands towards the floor because your bottom is low. So in parallel squat, people sit back. In functional squat, we're looking to sit down. That's only going to come if your feet are on the outside of your hips. Outside of, sit down. Now, can you stay down in your functional squat wherever your function is? Bottom down. Now come up on your toes. Tip forward, put your hands on the floor. And just walk the legs behind you. Walk them back in. Put your heels down, stand up. So squat to ground, tip, step back to a plank, walk the hip in, on the heels, come up. This is just warm up. You're just trying to get your hips alive. Get them moving. Now, if you're not in a functional squat, maybe you can't reach the ground yet, then just take your arms out and in and stand up. Let's do one more. And release. Turn to the side, balance, and just give me a quadricep stretch. And we'll call this warm-up complete. Now, warm-up's all about functional joint mobility. Other side, so we can get the most out of the exercise patterns we have. We're doing progressive sets. They're going to be endurance-based. We are going to touch on strength, endurance, stability, strength, and functional strength. Okay, you ready? Dumbbells up. Starting with a squat pattern. What can we do with a squat pattern? Bring your dumbbells up towards your shoulders. Toes slightly turned out. Sit down into your squat. Just find your squat wherever it finds you this morning. Knowing that we need to sit back in the heels. That's how we're going to get the bottom to fire. Knowing also that if you sit down through your hip, you're going to get the glutes firing. If you sit down through your spine, you're only going to get the quadriceps and the lower back firing. So you choose how you want your squat to be. The deeper you go, the more glute activation you'll get. But you know your ankle mobility will affect it. And you can add a little bit of a shoulder press. That's fine. Nice and tall at the top. And we're going to add a pause. So we're going to go down, hold, drive up. Go down, hold, drive up. Down, hold, drive up. So we start to kick in a little bit of stability when we add that pause, because then the muscle has to stop, hold, static contraction. Good. So a nice full range of motion squat with a pause at the bottom. That pause is so powerful. Pause at the bottom. Good. And again, and down and pause. Now you're going to hold at the bottom and stay here. We're going to add some stability. We're going to shift to the right like we're skiing, shift to the left like we're skiing, and then center, drive up. So down, shift the weight to the right foot, left foot, center, up. Down, shift to the right foot, left foot, center, up. Keep going, team. On that shift, you definitely want to feel like you've got the weight in the outside of the foot. So we get into that lateral line. It's going to get your glute med. So down, shift, shift. Yes, drive up. Team, can I ask that you keep your eyes facing forward and you don't let your eyes go down, because that's going to bring your spine over. Very nice. Keep going. Shift, shift, and up. Good. Shift, shift, and up. You got two more. Down, shift, shift. So that's your stability strength. We're going to move on to that functional strength. One more in that stability mode. Good. Now put your dumbbells down on the floor. Find your deep squat. If you can't find it, go wider. Take your toes out. Now take your hands to the floor. Jump back halfway. Jump in. Heels on the floor. Stand up. Sit back to squat. If you're low enough, your hands are going to go to the floor. You're going to be here. Hands will easily go to the floor. Now remember, this is not cardio training, so I'm not going for speed here. I'm going for stability and functionality. So when I get to the floor, I could step it out, like you practiced in the warm-up. Sit into your heels to stand up. Keep going, team. What's really important is that when you go back, you have a flat back. We don't have to go straight. We don't want to drop the hips. Keep the knees bent. Keep the flatness in the back. And let me see two more. Now, what happens if your functional squat doesn't take you to the floor yet? Just reach out and stand up. You want to protect your lower back. In a functional squat, it's your buttocks that take you to the ground, not your lower back. Last one, last one. And release. Use that functional squat now to pick up your dumbbells. Lovely jubbly. Okay. Stability, right leg. Stand tall. You're going to start to give me a lateral raise. I love lateral raises. Usually if you've got a shoulder issue, this is the one thing we can do. So everybody should be okay doing this one. Be careful that you're not over here. Try and stand up with your head stacked over your lovely hips. Good. Now I've got my thumbs facing up. It's just so much kinder on the shoulder joint. So when you study functional training, you also study the shapes of the bones and how we can get the most out of them in every single socket. Always looking for anatomical neutral. And if you can see with the thumbs up in this position, it's just a bit kinder on the shoulders than that position. That isn't wrong, it's just this is kinder. Good, and drive. Keep going here. Keep going. Nice, nice and tall in the spine as you go. Shouldn't feel comfortable. Should be horrible. You're going to do 3 more. This is great on the core, your rib muscles, your obliques, they're all stabilizing the rib cage. Now hold the arms up, hold, and do what we call crucifix. Shoulders down the back body. Shoulders down the back body in 3, in 2, and 1. Now split the stance the other way, and now give me a split frontal raise. I still have my body tall right now. So team, I'm not bending over, nice and tall in the body. Good. Now what's going to happen today with these progressive sets is that there should be a nice underlining current of cardio. So you should be feeling that heart rate nice and steadily lifted. Chest up, spine up, nice and tall. Good. We split the scissor, and if your dumbbells are a little bit heavier, you just slow it down. The heavier dumbbells, the slower you go. The lighter the dumbbells, the more flow you'll have. You've got 2 more, and then we're going to combine them together. Last one. And release. Okay, so standing here. With stability now, you're going to add a lateral raise with the side leg, and then you're going to take the leg behind on the front. So go lateral and frontal. Lateral and frontal. And if you need to, put the dumbbells down and continue the movement patterns so you get that joint health. Depends what size of dumbbells you've got. And when you're doing progressive sets, you might need to put the dumbbells down. That's not a bad thing, could be an intelligent thing. Last one, switch the legs. Ready? Lateral and frontal. Good, and again. Lateral and frontal. Nice, keep the body tall. And if it's just too much and you haven't got a lighter pair of dumbbells, do the movement without the dumbbells. You've got 3. And drive. And 2. And drive. Last one. Boom. And release. Lovely. Give me a squat, a lunge pattern now. So right foot forward, left foot back. Steady the body. Just go for regular lunge. Good old-fashioned regular lunge. Straight down, straight up. If you want to add a little bit of a bicep curl, you can add a little bit of a bicep curl. That's up to you. Nice and tall in the posture. And you're just establishing a basic lunge here. So just a basic lunge. Back knee under hip. Head over hip. Going straight down, straight up. Lovely, jubbly. Keep going there. I'm just going to switch out those 10s. If I've got the smaller dumbbells, no, my daughter's stolen them. I'm not switching out my 10s. I'm staying with them. And drop straight down and up. Good. Now we're going to add some stability. So go down and pause. Come on up. Go down and pause. Come on up. And again, you can do bicep. You can do whatever you want with your arms right now. As we're getting into the lunge pattern, pause at the bottom. Come on up. Make sure you add that definite pause. It's going to do wonders to the muscles that cross the hip and the buttock, as they're your stabilizers in this chain at the moment. Down, pause. Come on up. Down, pause. Come on up. We're going to go one step further with this stability. And I'm going to go down. Then I'm going to step to the right. Bring it across. Step back. And then I'm going to stand up. So moving lunge. I go down. Step. Step. Center. Center. Stand up. But the effort is in staying down. Can you stay down? Yes, no? Stay down. Good. Down, in, and up. Do 2 more. Nice and low. Try and keep your body high. Sorry, I've got somebody. Must be having internet issues. Come back in. Good. Nice stability lunge there. Down, cross, cross. Center. Last one. Then we've got to move into a functional lunge. That was your stability lunge. And release. Now, lunge down to the floor. Pop the dumbbells down. If you need a mat under your back knee, put it under your knee now. Just grab a cushion. That will work too. Functional lunge. Right leg. Forward. Stand up. Down to the floor. Return. Forward, stand, floor, return. forward. So that functionality of pushing up from the ground, that's functional training. Push, pull, all the human natural movement patterns where we have our power and our strength is functional training. So push up from the ground. You have to be able to get up from the ground when you're 90 years old. So don't be shy now. If it's too much for you, build up the floor, maybe 2 cushions under your knee. You've got 6 more to go here, team. And it's all about that lovely hip action. As you kind of swing that hip around, that's functional hip mobility. Push into your heel, drive up. Good. Last 2. One more. Lovely jubbly. Stay down, grab your dumbbells, right leg forward, push on up. We have 2 legs. I'm sure you're grateful you haven't got 4 legs. Stand at the center. Body over hips, yes. Chest up. Let's begin. Lovely regular lunge on the left. Straight up, straight down. Nice and tall in our posture because we're amazing and we care about our posture. The one thing that will make you look older than you are is your posture. Really need to be mindful that your exercise programs are balanced. You've got functional training in there to promote joint mobility and good posture. Let's do a few more like this. And then shall we add that pause at the bottom? Here we go. Down, pause, come on up. And down, and pause, and come on up. And down, and pause. Good, and again. So you want to hold out in that pause. Don't rush it. As you pause, you should feel something happen in that lateral hip and that buttock. So when you get down at the bottom, you should feel like a connection as your stabilizers engage. Hopefully, if they're used to engaging, you're going to get an automatic fire. If not, you're going to have to do a few more reps before they decide to kick in. That's normal. One more, and we're going to add the moving portion. Ready? Here we go. So drop down. Now move left. How's that hip? Come back and stand up. So get low, head up, chest up, eyes forward, and then stand. Get low. Move on that split. Super duper. Up we go. Nice and low. Yes. Almost there. Keep going. Deep and low. This will conclude your stability function of your lunge. Then we'll move into your functional strength. Good. Let's do one more. Want to make sure those glute meads are on fire. And go down all the way to the floor. Pop your dumbbells down. Return the knee. Begin the left. Do you need something under your knee? Go for it. Now, can I emphasize, keep going team, that when you step forward, put your mind in your heel. If you go on your toe, and you're going to stand up from the anterior line, don't want to do that. Put the mind in the heel, then you'll stand up from the posterior chain. That's where your big muscle is. So that heel point is so important. Really important. Push into your heel. Stand up. It's going to help you stand up in one fluid unit. Good. If it's just not for you, then just do a low lunge as far as you can to the floor and then stand up. You've got 6 more, team. 6 more functional lunges. Head up nice and high. Today we're about strength, stability, and functional training. Everything you need to be strong in multiple planes of direction. Science always moving on, research always moving on. Last two, and drive. And the last one, and release. We're going to give the legs a break while we do a core exercise. You've got one dumbbell. Going to recommend a smaller dumbbell if you have the choice. Okay, you've got your right arm facing the ceiling, so you're going to bend your right knee. You're going to have your left leg straight. We're going to do a functional get up. You're going to tuck the chin under, push into your right foot, come up to seated, create some extension at the top, roll down through the spine like a Pilates roll down, and then come back up. Functional sit up. Now, why are we holding the dumbbell? Well, there's two reasons. It's one, to give you a connection to the torso, and two, it's to make the exercise loaded, so with resistance. So you might be thinking, I don't want the load, so then you would do it without. You might be thinking, your lower back doesn't like this, the abdominals are not firing properly, so you would put your hand on the floor and you would assist yourself to that functional get up. So there's lots of options. I want you to be safe, always first. I go for quality of movement versus quantity of movement. That keeps you injury-free and able to come back tomorrow. You're going to do one more on this side. Then you're going to go down and change the legs over. Left arm, left leg, and up you come. Now, even though you've switched sides, your abdominals are working bilaterally. They're working together. So they're fatigued already. It's basically, this is the second set. So don't worry that you're suddenly finding it harder to sit up. That's just the fatigue of the exercise creeping in, which is exactly what we want. Remember your options. Nobody says you have to do it with the dumbbell. It's still a functional movement pattern without. Keep going here. You have 6 more. If you're feeling this in your lower back, put your opposite elbow on the floor and assist you to come up. Could be that you're just getting some abdominal fatigue. So if the abdominals are no longer doing the pull-up, some of the muscles going to come in. So listen to the body. Last one, team. Good. Now go back down on the floor. Legs are straight, support your head. You can relax the legs. And you're going to do a small lift. I've got the legs out straight so that the hip flexors are not pulling you up. So now if the hip flexors are not involved, your movement's going to be really small. And that's great as we get into the lovely rectus abdominis. Elbows are nice and wide, team. Try and protect that neck. Really important that you're not pulling down on your head, and you shouldn't be able to see your elbows. Now we're going to progress from here. I'm going to have my toes facing up, and I'm going to flex the leg at the same time as flexing the torso. Try not to pull on your head though. Don't make this a 1980s curl. Take your elbows nice and wide. Protect the protection. Protect the position of the neck and your jaw. Lifting alternating legs. Now you've got hip flexors. As you flex that leg, that's your hip flexor. But because it originates on the lower back, it tells the abdominal to stabilize. So you've got a little bit of abdominal stability as well as abdominal flexion here. Nice. Last one. Now we're going to go deep into that stability. So bring your legs up into tabletop, please. Take your arms down by your side. In tabletop, can you move your knees so they're sitting straight up over your hip bones? And now lift the head and shoulders off the floor. Look at your thighs. Aren't they lovely? And then from here, hold that position. Pilates single leg stretch. So you're going to tap one leg in, one leg out. Keep going there for me. As you tap that leg in, as you extend the leg out, you kind of breathe out. And the Pilates breath is in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the breath out would be like you're blowing down a straw. Now remember, this is a progressive set. This is an endurance set. So your abdominals are going to be screaming at you. That's what we want. You got that stability here as you do this single leg stretch. So you're stabilizing. Can you make sure that your lower back is in contact with the floor? Make an imprint on the floor with the lower back. In 4 and 3. If your head is bothering you, put your neck and head down on the floor. Your neck muscles are actually part of your core, which is why they play a part in Pilates. Last one. And release. Super. Come on up, team. Come on up. Grab those dumbbells. Let's get into some lovely back next. So we have to get against gravity for the back. So you're going to take a semi-squat position, stick your chest out, hang over. Let's start with what we know as a traditional row. So let's just start with that traditional row. Pulling in. This is when you can afford to change your weights and go heavier. So we usually match the size of the dumbbell to the size of the muscle. And the back muscles are a bigger muscle, so they can usually afford a little bit more weight. Good, good. Now we're going to add on to this and do a rear fly. So from here, rear fly. And at the moment, I've got the palms of the hands facing each other. I'm going to open the arms wide. I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades back. Good. I'm going to do a couple like that. Now I'm going to change it. I'm going to turn the palms of the hands to face my thighs and do a row from here. Feel the difference. Team, make sure that your row's not going up towards your ears. Draw the dumbbells back towards the side of the chest. Yeah, side of the chest. Look down at the floor. Side of the chest. So we're going to go 2 row. And then we're going to turn the dumbbells and do 1 fly. So I'm going to do 2 wide row, palms of the hands facing back, and then a wide fly. So wide row, palms of the hands facing thigh, and then wide fly, palms face each other. Good, and again, pull, and pull, and open. 1 more, pull, and pull, and open. Now, I'm going to switch to my mini band. If I don't have a mini band, I'm going to stay with a dumbbell. Put the mini band under the left foot. Hinge from your hip, put your right hand on your thigh, and now pull. So I've got an underhand grip, and I'm pulling. Show you from side. I've got an underhand grip, and I pull. I've got my left hand on the thigh, keep going. Your buttocks are engaged because they're holding you. They're bracing in a long position as a stabilizer, which is fabulous. You've got an underhand grip as you row. Push out your chest. And if you're not doing this with a mini band, continue with a heavy dumbbell, or maybe both dumbbells in 1 hand. And again, big pull. You got to really get to the top there, team. Don't be shy. Don't hang out at the bottom. You got to really get that extra bite at the end of the band. In 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Switch it over to the other foot. Underhand grip. You got to be right over, and then pull and pull. And that's the key to training your back, is getting against that gravity. So we're right over here against the gravity, enabling me to get that pull, play around with that foot position, Where do you need it to be? So you can drive and get that big pull in. Stay with it. You've got all that stability happening around your hip chain. Fantastic, fantastic stability. Keep going and drive and pull in 6 and 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Release, come down on the floor. The back's not finished. I think somebody's been having internet issues. Calm down. Dumbbells go together. Continue. And then take this. Oh, I forgot the mini band should be on your legs. I'm sorry. Put the mini band on. Into your thigh. Step apart. Hold it there. Keep that width on the band. Lift your hips up. And then give me a dumbbell pullover. So bring the dumbbells and glue them towards each other. And you have to consciously press them in. So consciously press those dumbbells towards each other as you do this lovely dumbbell pullover. And you want to go as far over the head as you can. Now we're going to add a pause. So come down, pause, and then come up. So you're adding that stability. Down, pause, return. Down, pause, return. Squeeze your glutes, team. Get your hips up high. Good. Hold that mini band tight. Take those feet a little bit wider. Don't want any discomfort in the knee. But if you can just have that little bit of tension in that band. Hold the hips up high. Don't forget that pause. Come over, pause, and drive it up. So you know in strength training, it's all about the dumbbells. Getting the resistance at the right level so you get that overload. So if your dumbbells are a little bit light, then you might not be getting your fatigue in your back because the back muscles are big. They usually can afford a decent amount of weight. Keep coming here. Keep squeezing the hip. Keep squeezing the hips up high. Press out on that mini band. Good. Last one here. And release. Take that down. Take the band off your legs and put it on your hands. So the band's going on my forearms now. As I finish my back and the stabilization. So the band's on the forearms. Arms are above the chest. Bring your knees up into tabletop. So that means stacking your knees over your hips. Pull the navel to the back of the spine, please. Now press out on that mini band. Press out, shoulders down away from the ears. Glue the abdomen. If you don't have the mini band, then just hold your arms up. This is working the stabilizers of the shoulders and the rotator cuffs. It's fantastic. If you don't have a mini band, stay there. One thing you can do is just hold a belt and pull it apart and hold, just so you get that stabilization. Now, hold the stabilization of the arms, pull the navel to the back of the spine, and do single leg drop. Now, in this single leg drop, your lower back should be making an imprint into the floor. As you press out on your mini band, you're just building that endurance and stability of the rotator cuff muscles that are designed to stabilize the humerus in the shoulder socket. Keep the navel to the back of the spine, please. Navel to the back of the spine. If your shoulders are now reaching fatigue, bring your hands together, just clasp your hands. And now we're just going to take the arms over the head as we take the legs away from the body. Arms overhead as we take the legs away from the body. Good, nice and tall, nice and long. Draw the navel to the back of the spine, please. In 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, press back out on that mini band. Set 2, stabilize. Shoulders down away from the ears. Good. Now lower your right leg towards the floor and hold it there. Hover. Compress the abdominal wall. Are you feeling an imprint into the floor? I don't want you overarching that back. If it's bothering your lower back, put your feet on the floor and hold that stability for those rotator cuff muscles, shoulders away from the ears. Switch the legs if you're hovering. Compress the abdomen. You can make it easier with a bent knee. You make it harder with a straight leg hover. So pick your poison, connect to your stability, hold that abdominal compression in 4. Press out into that mini band. Press, press, press. And release. Take the mini band down. Bring your legs to tabletop, hands behind your head. We're going to go to tuck and star. Tuck, star. Tuck, star. Now, the only thing I don't like about saying tuck is that often leads to people to round in. So how about if I say lift, then star, lift, then star, because I don't want you to change the neutral position of your neck. We're aiming to have that nice lift and then that open star. Lift, open star. Now you can stay up when you do star, or you can go down when you do star. You can choose. So you could come up, down, star. You could come up, star, go down. Any variation. Want that length of line. I want you to lengthen the legs. Be proud of your legs. Lengthen them. Open the hip. Good. And again, lift, star, in. Last one here. Now we're just going to go rotational, legs in tabletop. You're just going to give me that bicycle. I'm going to have one elbow on the floor at all time. Why? It's just so I can get a little bit more into the rotational line. I'm going to push one elbow down into the floor as I come across on the other side. Now, do I have to do this with my legs extended? No, I could have the feet on the floor. Whatever's feeling good for you is where you should be. So feet on the floor or legs in the air, whatever works. Stay with it here. Nice rotational line. Good. And drive. Extending those toes away. Digging that elbow in as you rotate across. Keep coming. In 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. We're just going to finish with stability, which would be a plank. And we're going to do elbow plank today. Elbow plank with parallel lines. So let me show you from the front. Parallel lines. I'm not going to do internal rotation and compress the neck and shoulders. I've got my thumbs facing up. I'm digging my forearms, the knife edge of my arms into the ground. Body weight over the shoulders. I step one leg back and then the other leg back. But the work in a plank team is that you really press down into your elbows and you take your shoulders in the back of the body. Dig into your elbows, shoulders down the back of the body. Navel, yes, of course, draws in. If your feet are together, it's a little bit harder. Feet apart, wider base, a little bit easier. Pull your front ribs in. Don't let your bottom hips hang down. Lift your hips. Pull your ribs in. Good. Ribs in, shoulders flat. Hold that position. Ribs in, shoulders flat. Nice. Now can you give me a little bit of rotation? One hip goes to the side, and then the other hip goes to the side. Keep going. If that doesn't feel right or good in the shoulders, don't do the rotation. You don't have to do that rotation. So you want that stability? Great. If you can add a little bit of movement to that stability, fantastic. If not, stay in the plank. When the technique is gone, that's your cue to take a break. There's no extra points for carrying on with faulty technique. Last 2, last 1, and time. Give me one set of extensions just to ease my conscience, and we will finish. Squeeze the glutes, lift and lower. So really important when you do your core that you always have an element of extension in here, because that's what's going to help the posture and the balance of alignment. As you lift and lower, look down at the floor. You can lift your arms, you can squeeze the shoulder blades together as you lift, having a little bit of extra at the end. So we have a full balanced workout. Team, make sure you do look at the December schedule. There's little notes on the schedule in red when a class isn't running. So for example, this class is not on Christmas Eve. There's no classes on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, as the club is closed and would be traditionally. So no classes Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We are running a class on Boxing Day. This class will return the following week, but I am taking a week and a half off, and I'm so excited. I don't ever take time off. I do have a problem. Last one, stay up, hold, press the arms up to the ceiling now. A little bit in that rear arm. In 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push up onto your knees. Knees apart. It's all over. It's gone so quick. Press your chest to the floor. Lovely jubbly. That was your progressive sets, considering traditional strength, stability strength, and functional strength. Come up onto your hands and knees. Never forget to stretch that lovely psoas, so you can be high lunge, proposal position, low lunge, whatever works for you. Let's get a stretch into that hip. Pressing down into that front thigh, chest is lifted. Push into heel, come back, change over, other leg forward. You can be high, you can be low. You want to get a nice stretch into that psoas, that hip flexor. Hope you enjoyed the workout, everybody. Once again, my name is Simone. I'm here usually Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. I'm also here on Saturday at 11:30 for a great yoga class. Push into your heel, come on up. Come on up to standing. I just want to get into that glute. So you can either hold the wall or a door for support or balance. Make the number 4 shape and then just sit back into your hip. And just hold and try and get into that lovely bottom. We've done a lot of sneaky bottom work today. Use the glutes as stabilizers quite often. And release, change over. Other leg goes up, make that number 4 shape. And then sit back. Any questions, comments, likes, dislikes, leave them in the chat for me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you feel energized and fabulous. And I thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you so much, everybody. Great, great energy, great work. Look forward to maybe seeing you on Saturday in yoga. Next week, I'm not here. I'm taking some time off, and I have a lovely girl called Karen subbing for me on Tuesday. Karen is another new instructor that I've hired. She isn't new to teaching. She's been teaching for over 10 years, was working at the Winter Club previously, so I hope you like her next Tuesday. She's going to sub for me. And I will see you in 2021. Oh my goodness. I'm here on Saturday, and I'm here the following Saturday. So I will see you. Thank you so much. I noticed that, Denise, I saw your Wi-Fi in and out. I know everybody's on Wi-Fi with all the kids at school. Everybody's bandwidth is struggling a little bit. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Joan. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Sydney. And Susan and Christy. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Gary. Nice to see you. Thanks, Donna. A session of poison. Thanks, Sydney. Thanks, Bettina. Happy Christmas to you too. Yes, I'm going tubing with my family. I'm going to Canmore for a few days. I'm going to take some downtime, definitely. Thanks so much, Susan. Thanks, Bronwyn. Nice to see you too. I will see you hopefully maybe on Saturday when you all need a good stretch, when you wake up tomorrow and you're a bit sore. Thanks, Pat. Merry Christmas. Great workout. Thank you. Okay, lovely people, I'm going to end the session now, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful rest of the day.